Hello everybody, I am Tiffany and today I am bringing you once again a new TV show review. This one's a little bit different just because this is an actual show I've seen before, but I got a request a little while ago to watch the show Legacies, which is a Vampire Diaries spin-off. So I decided to go back and watch the original Vampire Diaries along with the originals so I can fully catch up in case I missed anything important, and plus I wanted to rewatch it, so why not? I'm wearing my Vampire Diaries shirt. Whoa. Damon and Stefan, and I got my red lipstick on. The show I am reviewing today is season 1 of the Vampire Diaries, and let me tell you, it was so much fun going back and watching this from the beginning. Once I started watching it, I remembered stuff, but I just forgot what got me into Vampire Diaries in the first place. It was something I just gave a chance on, and my gosh, did I fall in love with it. And I definitely think it is a really good show. It may be a little bit cheesy at moments, but I love it. I love all the twists and turns in it, in all honesty. For those of you who've never seen the show, I would suggest to try and get through like the first 5 episodes. I know that seems daunting for a TV show, but the first 5 episodes do kind of feel like Twilight, but then it really picks up and starts getting into the twists and turns of Vampire Diaries, and you see why it is awesome. For those of you who want statistics, the show overall has a 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb. It doesn't have an individual rating for each season. It has it for each episode, but I'm not going through each episode. But overall, the rating is really, really high. It stars a great cast. It has Nina Dobrev, who was in Perks of Being a Wallflower as well, and Flatliners, though this series was actually her breakthrough. I think she was in Degrassi before that, if I remember correctly. There is Paul Wesley, who plays Stefan. He's right there. He's in a new show on CBS All Access, and he's been doing pretty well. It has Ian Somerhalder, aka Damon Salvatore, my personal favorite, and he was in Lost before this. He did a lot before this, and I think he has a new show on Netflix as well. It has Kat Graham, who plays Bonnie, Kenneth King, who plays Caroline. It has just overall really amazing cast. I know it seems like your cheesy, typical vampire show, but it actually is very, very good. There's a reason that it was on for so long as it was. I enjoyed it thoroughly, hence why I'm dressed up in this magical garb and am reading the books now, though I like the show. For those of you who have no idea what Vampire Diaries is, 1, catch up. 2, it follows this girl Elena. She lives in a small town called Mystic Falls, and Stefan Salvatore ends up being this new guy at school. He's actually a vampire, and she ends up falling in love with him, and stuff ensues. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Go watch it. It's fun. And I just forgot how much stuff happened in the first season, and the character development. It's so weird going back and watching a show from the beginning when you know how far they've come. But yeah, it's such a great show. You need to go check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. That is really all I can tell you without spoiling you. I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about different parts of season 1 that I love. Go watch it yourself and then come back and we can talk about it together. And I'm gonna do a review for each season specifically. Season 2 will be coming your way soon. Goodbye, non-spoilery people. Go watch Vampire Diaries. Goodbye. Ow! Spoilery time! It was really funny seeing the love story once again. I know how it ends up, and it was so weird just going back to the beginning of it all. Seeing her so young and innocent and not even knowing about vampires yet, and seeing the love between her and Stefan at the beginning. What makes you fall in love with the show, I think, in all honesty, and keeps you going, is how genuine Stefan is. I really loved Stefan in the first season. He was super sweet, he meant well. You also saw in the first episode how they were playing with different elements that are in the book. You know that Damon is able to create fog and he can turn into a bird in the book. And they actually played with that in the first episode but kind of dropped it after. I love his introduction though, and as soon as I saw Damon Salvatore, I was like, who is that? And that is Ian Somerhalder, and he is beautiful. Paul Wesley's beautiful too. They have beautiful people in the show. I just want to say, I look at them and I go, dang. It was really cool to see Bonnie too, and how close her and Elena were friendship-wise. It was nice seeing their really strong friendship and seeing the conflict with Caroline a little bit. I liked how the show had done that when Caroline's kind of this mortal enemy in the book. They took that out in the show. You have Caroline be really jealous of Elena, but at the end of the day, she does care about Elena as a friend, and Elena cares about her, and I really, really appreciated that. But I did like the dynamic between Elena and Bonnie. It's been so long since I've seen the show, I forgot how it was, and it was nice. Seeing Bonnie being able to figure out her witch powers, the part where she's able to lift up the feathers with the pillow, Oh, it's so cool. But I gotta admit, it was hard to keep focus at first, knowing what was going to happen. Just again with those first few episodes, just because they're so cheesy, and it really starts picking up once Elena figures everything out. But once that happens, then it just really took off, and I was able to really just get captivated and want to sit down and watch it all again. I had to stop myself from watching season 2. I had to mentally tell myself, no, Tiffany, you can't watch season 2 yet until you do a review for season 1. I really liked how Elena's and Damon's relationship built over time, friendship-wise at least. I forgot that they had gone to the bar and really bonded there, and that was actually really nice, because up until that point, you don't really see a lot of humanity with Damon. He does a lot of awful things in the first season that I forgot about because it's Damon and it's Ian Somerhalder, and you just forgive because he's pretty. The whole situation with Vicki, for example, was just absolutely awful. Damon's completely mean to her. He turned her into a vampire. Granted, Vicki was annoying, but oh my gosh, I forgot how bad that whole sequence is, and how he was to Caroline. I was just like, I forgot how abusive he was. That was bad. But I realized the conflict again at the beginning of the show, and why I really loved Stefan at the beginning versus Damon, because Damon was just horrible. Vicki was always hard for me to watch in this season. It's nothing against Vicki, she was just annoying to me, and I wanted her to be with Jeremy, but when they got together, Jeremy was annoying at the time, Vicki was annoying at the time. It just, ugh. I was still sad when she died. In that moment where Damon offers to compel Jeremy in order to make him forget what happened to Vicki and that she died, that was a really touching moment. I loved the way Stefan was with Elena, how he really protected her. It was really, really sweet. And the moment where he turns and ends up starting to take human blood, that was intense. That whole episode where they have to go and save Stefan is crazy in the first place. You're dealing with the tomb vampires, which we'll get back to. They're torturing Stefan, and Stefan's basically almost dead, and Elena has to save him by feeding him her blood, and he ends up getting addicted to human blood after. And you see exactly why Stefan should not be addicted to human blood. He went crazy. The whole pageant that Elena's in, where Damon has to step in, though, gives us a nice moment between Damon and Elena. My goodness, seeing him go after that one girl and tell her to run, Paul Wesley did such a good job. He was scary. I was scared. And you just see his struggle because he's super upset that Elena found out about this, that she found out about Stefan drinking human blood still, even though he was trying to hide it and he was out of control. Seeing that whole sequence afterwards, you really saw the love between Elena and Stefan. She doesn't leave his side. She's not scared of him. Even though Stefan wants to die, she helps him through it. I totally forgot about the tomb vampires. I forgot about Anna. Anna was awesome. I forgot how cool Anna was. Even though she was a villain at the beginning of the first season, I still enjoyed her character a lot. She was a lot less annoying than Vicki. I think that's when I started liking Jeremy. I did not like Jeremy at the beginning. He was a brat in the beginning. And he was with Vicki, who I also didn't really like. But then he started liking Anna a lot, and he was still a brat. Because asking her, for example, to turn him into a vampire, I was like, dude, stop. He was being too much. But I still liked him a lot better with Anna. Their relationship was very complicated. She was playing him, then it kind of felt like he was playing her, but I think he did still have actual feelings for her. But I think more than that, he did just want to become a vampire for a good majority of the time. But Anna's just whole character arc I thought was really good. That was one character I was sad to see die at the end of season 1. I wanted her to actually still be in the later seasons. The whole tomb vampire storyline I think was a little bit forgettable in a sense, except for Anna and her mom. Her mom, Pearl, I loved Pearl. She just wanted to live her life, and I felt really bad when Pearl ended up dying at the hands of John Gilbert. I realized once again why I hated John Gilbert. He was a pain in the butt. He had that stupid ring that protected him. I was super annoyed at that. He ended up being Elena's father, which was crazy. And I did appreciate, I guess, in a sense, how he helped Jeremy, but Jeremy was just tough to deal with that first season. I think that was the tough part about Jeremy, in all honesty, looking back, is the fact that he was dealing with characters that, in general, people didn't really like, except for Anna. You got introduced to Warner in the first season. He, again, was just super cool. I loved his character from the very beginning. It was so great. His whole character development with his wife, Isabel, is crazy, and the fact that she is Elena's mother. Oh, Isabel was great as well. As much as she is a pain, I loved her character. I loved the actress that played her. I thought she did a great job of balancing between trying to stay cold and distant, but also showing that little bit of humanity, that torture that she had by making her decision. The moment where she says to him that, I made my decision and I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life. That's the moment you truly see her humanity. She says she's cold and she's detached and that's part of her nature now, but truly it isn't. If anything, vampires' emotions are stronger than when they are human. So they can turn it off, of course, in order order to deal with it, but their nature necessarily isn't to be cold-blooded like that. And the way I interpreted it when I watched it, even though she doesn't really admit it until the very end, you see her struggle of trying to remain distant and get her job done, but also kind of longing. I think she wanted to see Elena because that's her daughter. She cares. She just tries to hide it, which is stupid. Once again, the relationship between Elena and Damon building slowly, I think, was just always really good. In the first season, that moment where he dances with her, that's the first moment you go, oh my god. That's the first time I think you truly see Damon super charming and stepping in for someone to help versus being really, really selfish. And you see that he really does care about Elena. Ian Somerhalder just did a really fantastic job with it. You see that throughout. There's moments where Elena kind of betrays him in a way. They're trying to get the spell book before Damon does in order to stop him from opening the tomb, and when he sees Elena there, he is heartbroken. He's heartbroken that she lied to him, and you realize they do have a really strong bond, and he trusts her. And he doesn't show it a lot except in tiny moments like that. The whole story with Bonnie's grandmother made me cry, and it was interesting seeing Bonnie be cold after that. That I think bugged me a little bit when I originally watched it, and bugged me now when I watched it again, just because Bonnie's the one that wants to keep the tomb open in order to help Stefan get out and Elena get out. But Elena can get out because she's not a vampire. Her grandmother ends up being the one saying it's not a good idea, it's going to take too much power, but Bonnie still wants to do it. But what happens is that power takes such a toll on the grandmother that she ends up passing away. Bonnie ends up completely icing out Elena. I hated her for that. I get blaming Stefan, but being cold to your best friend when she was in really dire need hurt to watch. She's going through a lot. She's dating a vampire boyfriend. That's tough to deal with. This is the one season I think I got truly mad at Bonnie because she fakes fixing the device that can detect vampires and almost gets Damon killed. Bonnie messed up, and I know that she redeems herself in the end in a way by letting Stefan save his brother from the fire, but it still was just ugh. It was frustrating. You also have the whole situation with Caroline and Matt. I had always loved that couple, in all honesty. I thought they were really cute. I liked their development. Caroline is very high maintenance. Matt didn't always really like her. He was still in love with Elena, but I still loved their relationship. And he's always honest with her, and I think that's why I love Matt too. When they go on the double date with Stefan and Elena, he sits Caroline down in the car at the end, and Caroline's upset because him and Elena were kind of reminiscing, and he tells Caroline, I told you before this, yes, I still have feelings for Elena, but the only person I wanted to be with tonight was you. And I think that was really sweet, and Caroline's really insecure, but it is super sweet. The ending where she ends up fainting and having to go to the hospital, that's absolutely crazy as well. And how they hint at what happens with Tyler is crazy, and his dad ends up dying because of that. Whew, that was some payback. They do such a good job of just hinting of stuff in this world and really setting up a lot of stuff for season 2. Either season 2 or season 3 is like my favorite season. So I'm excited to get watching. It was really great seeing everyone from the beginning once again and being able to watch the character development once again. I thought that was super, super fun. That is really all I have to say about this. It was super fun watching the first season again. I will definitely continue watching the seasons. If you have any other book, movie, or TV recommendations, leave them in the comments below. I will go check them out and make sure to do reviews on them for you. If you want updates on anything, go to tiffanybooksanmovies.blogspot.com. That is my blog. It gives you updates on when new videos are out, of course, besides your normal alerts, and then just keeps you updated on acting stuff if you're curious about that stuff. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an awesome day, afternoon, evening, whatever time of the day it is, and don't forget to be awesome, and go watch Vampire Diaries, and then we can all wear red lipstick together. Yeah! Thanks for joining me. Goodbye!